Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Balanced Life with Dr. Jacquie here at the Black Star Network. You know that each and every week, this is my favorite time of the week when we have an opportunity to gather together and talk about issues of balance and matters of life. Today, we have no shortage of an extraordinary conversation with a few amazing people who are going to talk to us about what it means to get back to balance. You know, balance, as we've learned over the last several weeks that we've been together, is more than just what you do on your calendar and the things that you put on your schedule. It is literally your mindset, how you choose to live out your life, how you decide what to get engaged in, how to remove yourself from certain situations and people. It literally requires us to be all in. So welcome to A Balanced Life. Today, our guests, our panelists, we have an amazing lineup. This conversation today, Charlotte Avery, Dr. Tierney, Dr. Gloria Ivy Crow, Chef Rock Harper, Mocha Lee, and Dr. Jessica Howard. Let me tell you, we have something to talk about. Everybody, welcome back to A Balanced Life. So today, one of the things I like to talk about is whether you are physically, mentally, emotionally, however you find yourself having these issues, jumping in to being balanced isn't easy. The world has opened up. Everybody's getting out and about, whether you're masked up or not. There's some things that concern us about being able to move forward as it relates to our physical health. I mean, after all, we've been in for 2 years. So how do you get your body back and moving and in motion? So let's bring in Charlotte Avery, Dr. Tierney, and Mocha Lee to have a talk about it.
Hello.
Well, hello.
All righty.
Man, let me tell you, how are you guys? I mean, spring has sprung. We move forward. How are you guys doing in this space of getting back to balance? Now, pre-pandemic, we had a rhythm and a routine. We knew exactly where we were going and what we wanted to do. Charlotte Avery, how's it working out for you?
It depends on the day, honestly. It really does. I mean, some things go scheduled as planned and some things just don't. But when it comes to, getting myself snatched and all back put together after these 2 years, I have to tell you, I mean, it's been a struggle for me. It has been a struggle for me to really look at the calendar and say, you know what? I got to work out today. I need to make sure I'm drinking enough water. And it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. Like it has been hard.
How are you mentally adapting to the various changes in each of your day?
I mean, I'm making it. I mean, like I said, it depends on the day. Like I'm so happy that now the sun is shining because I'm a sunshine girl. So just to be able to open the curtains and feel the sun coming in the house and see it come in the house, it makes me a happier person. It makes me happier on the inside just to have the sun glowing and things of that nature. So, I mean, and then also it depends on how much laundry I have to do. So you just never know.
Well, today some of what we're going to be talking about is a little bit of a double entendre because we're talking about getting back to balance and what that looks like in your daily routines. But then also, how do you get your physical self back to balance mentally, physically, and emotionally? Mocha Lee, when you think about the work that you do and helping us all get fit, there's some times that each of us may not feel like we want to really do anything. How do you help us mentally prepare before we get physically ready?
Phew, that's a good question because there are days that you completely just cannot figure out where you're going to muster up the energy. I am glad we already talked about the sunshine because believe it or not, that vitamin D is huge. Whether you're getting it from the sun or just getting it in a supplement form in your vitamins, vitamin D helps you with mood. And mood, a lot of times, is what's going to trigger that energy. So, it's a mindset. If you already have on your calendar that you're going to work out or you're going to spend some time, at least maybe 20 or 30 minutes moving your body. Sometimes it's not a workout, just moving. If it's already on the calendar, then you can get it done. And I say, why not multitask? Go outside and walk now that it's getting warmer so you can get that vitamin D from the sun and then also just get some movement in because you really have to just figure out how can I be efficient and squeeze in a lot of things in a little bit of time.
Ooh, squeezing in Okay, so I'm not gonna go there because you said squeezing in a lot of things in a little bit of time, like trying to jump in an outfit that you know you should have retired during the pandemic. I mean, I literally just had a flashback when you said that, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go there, but I could not resist when you said trying to squeeze in some things in a little bit of time. Sometimes your go-to outfit and the thing that you're rushing to get into, you're like, man, that needed to be retired during the pandemic. And you just wanted to hold on to it a little bit longer. So, Dr. Tierney, I honestly, when you think about everything that you do in your personal life, professional life, and preparing people to steady themselves to taking at least a step to get out, how do you prepare and engage individuals to say, I can do this today? What does that look like in your dialogue with them?
Yeah, it looks a lot like the dialogue I have with myself.
Okay.
First, and I said this last time, giving ourselves grace, because often when we prepare to step out and start back working out or whatever it is, we often do it from this place of, this is what I used to do pre-pandemic. This is how I used to work out. And then we'll try to hold ourselves to that same standard, not really taking an assessment of all of the different things that have changed, in your life. It could be, I mean, we've had a ton of pandemic babies, here. People have bought houses. Our work life has changed. We were going to our office and now working from home and now transitioning to that. We now at, what is it, dining room high in terms of schooling our children. There's a lot of different changes that have happened. So the way that you used to approach life has to change as well. And so the number one roadblock that myself and a lot of my clients run into is trying to get into life in the way that it used to be, instead of trying to find what your new normal is. Take an assessment of all of the things that you need now in this season, and then building your schedules, building your strategies around, that. I mean, just even in just my life alone, just from the pandemic, we moved across town. I turned 40. My business, tripled in size, so that my time commitments tripled in size right along with it. And so I was struggling and trying to work out in the way that I used to work out, and my schedule, my body, everything was just like, no, ma'am, we can't do that anymore. So taking that step back, taking a breath, taking a look at where you are now and what you need now, and then building your plan, whatever nutrition, you need, whatever your movement, your exercise needs are, whatever your family needs are, whatever your self-care and quiet time, what are your sleep needs now, and then setting your plan based off of that.
Setting plans, making goals, being prepared, all the things that life throws at you is often not easy. But as you're listening and learning today, you can see that living a balanced life is attainable. How you sustain it is up to you. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk to Chef Rock Harper, because nutrition is important. Want to see where he's been, what he's been up to, and just have an overall conversation about how to put meals on the table that matter to your body when we're back after the break.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're going to talk to Chef Rock Harper. Let me tell you, Chef has been up to some amazing things, and I'm excited to bring him into this conversation. Hey, Chef Rock Harper.
Hey, Dr. Jackie, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. How are things going with you? Tell our audience who you are, where you've been, and what you've been up to.
Wow. Well, like you said, I'm Chef Rockman Rock Harper, and I cook. I like to cook. I like to make people smile through food. And most recently, I've done a lot, so I don't even know how to answer that in total. And I don't want to bore your audience with my little resume. But most recently, I opened up Queen Mother's Restaurant, a fried chicken shop in Arlington, Virginia.
Okay, so that's kind of up the road. So I'll be dropping by.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to my taste buds are like, yes, Chef Rock Harper in a restaurant. So excited to hear about that. I don't think that your resume is that boring. People may have seen you on a specific special television show sometime back.
Yes. People probably are most widely known for my win on Hell's Kitchen season 3. I'm a dinosaur in a reality TV game, but yeah, that was probably my biggest boon so far.
I know people are thinking, I know that name. I know that name. This guy
Yeah.
really does look familiar to me. But I think that it's important that people begin to identify and understand, especially in our show today when we're talking about back to balance. And I did say it's a double entendre. So we're talking about our physical bodies being back, but also the state of mind that we're in. You've had some major career highs, and you, among others in that space of reality television, have really been able to parlay that into how you wanted to live out your dreams anyway. So it was just really like a stepping stone for you, or possibly just another gateway to something that you already wanted to do because of your passion for food. Can you share with our audience about the importance of how to live out your passion?
For sure. I mean, it's a great question. I think for me, it is, we throw out the word authenticity a lot. And I think maybe it's cliche at this point, but it's that for me. It's just bringing my whole full self to every arena or table that I get to sit at, or arena I enter into. And, there is a balance in doing that, right? You don't want everything isn't appropriate to throw out there, but entering in these different spaces, whether it be on television or the nonprofit work or the corporate work that I've done, and just knowing what is at my core, what's informed, where I am and my passions, the things that I really, really desire to get done. Just it's very important for me to center that in every space that I enter and say, hey, how can I bring these things forward in this space? And it's worked well for me so far, but it's constantly asking the question, what do I desire most? What am I here for? And how can I bring that to this space?
Those are some rich tips, especially when you open with being able to center yourself. You have a very demanding career, and it often requires you to stand up and move around a lot. And whereas you may be burning calories and getting your move goals in, we're talking about back awareness and back health, because sometimes that plays a very big part in our physical being, of being able to be in and get back to routines. How do you manage being on your feet all the time? And what type of guideline do you have for yourself about how long you stand up on your feet so that you're not having any type of spinal injuries?
This is such a wonderful topic, and I'm glad you're covering it, Dr. Jackie. So as a chef, I've worked, and I don't say this with any amount of, a little bit of pride, but I've worked, 18, 20 hours sometimes, and you sometimes forget to eat, you forget to get off of your feet, have you taken a break. So for us, feet, knees, back are very, very important. And oftentimes chefs neglect these parts of our bodies or paying attention to them. For me, what's worked, obviously, I don't say maybe not so obviously, but footwear. Once I started investing in what I put on my feet and the insoles, really, really changed a lot for me. I've worked at places that didn't have great flooring. So we were working on concrete slab, if you will, and that is not great for your feet or your knees or your back. So investing in mats, right? Chefs, when we work on the line, so investing in high quality mats. And the other thing is being intentional about these parts of your bodies, right? When you're 20 something, I entered in, we mostly enter in when we were really young in the restaurant game. You think that you're going to last forever and you can do all sorts of things, lift up crazy stuff and stand on your feet. They ain't going to last in your 40s and 50s and 60s. So, and we want to enjoy our time in our 60s, 70s and beyond. So we don't want to be hurting. So I think being intentional, what works for me is, taking breaks and stretching. I used to work for a corporation that had, it was corny, but they would make all of the employees stop and stretch throughout the day in front of customers. And I thought it looked corny, but when you get older and you realize like you got to take care of your body, it really matters to be intentional, really intentional about your knees, your back, and your feet. So those things have worked for me.
I want to invite in Dr. Gloria Ivy Crow. She's been with us before. And, Rock, you're probably speaking her language as it, relates to types of flooring. She's worked in a hospital. She has her own practice. And it's one of those things where you say, you can't be on your feet all the time. Dr. Gloria Ivy Crow. Hey there.
Hi, how are you? I was listening and thinking about when Rock was talking, and I was saying, yeah, we don't have mats because we're not standing still most of the time. We're moving around quite a bit. So the issue, of course, is our knees and our backs. And for a lot of us, what we try to do is make sure we need compression stockings that'll help with the lymphatic flow that's going, because when you're standing up long periods of time, you tend to get fluid to acquiesce or collect in your ankles. We also try to be very careful with our shoes. Ergonomic shoes are important. Clogs, Clarks are very important shoes. So we try to be real mindful of that and have to be intentional. And we do have to intentionally take breaks, because the way our days go and the number of patients that we have to see these days to try to keep up in the mandates in terms of insurance requirements and just staying afloat, especially in a single practice with a single practitioner, then you don't have a lot of downtime. You don't have a lot of time where you can just sit and say, you know what, hey, let me just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit. You got to make some time, but you've got to put some things up front, which is the ergonomics, the compression stockings, and the shoes, those things, and making it intentional to take some time to stop and smell the roses, I guess, a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, the two of you are in, spaces where people can really benefit from your knowledge and understanding. And for both Shep and Dr. Gloria, you, Dr. Gloria specifically, are in the obstetrics and gynecology space. And when women who are in Rock's field are pregnant, what are some of the guidelines for standing while you're also carrying another human in your body?
Well, it takes a lot of time out in terms of people have to be aware of, first of all, a singleton. Most of the time, these babies are coming out weighing 6 and 7 pounds. But when you think about the weight gain that occurs in most pregnancies, it's anywhere from 20 pounds to some people 45, 50, 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight, a lot of stress on your bones. And Dr. Howard may address that at a later time. But it changes the whole mechanics of even walking for women. Women have to change. Their balance is off. We're careful to remind them as they transgress or go through the rest of the different trimesters, then things are going to change. They're going to change. And if you see pregnant women, you can see, sometimes you can tell from the back they're pregnant. Their whole walking has changed, their whole balance. They have to shift their weight, because if not, they will be falling forward. So we say women go into what we call lordosis. They change. You see when they're walking, their feet are further apart. They have more of sway towards the back, but that's what they're going to need to do to be able to maintain that extra additional weight. And of course, that additional weight puts more stress on their joints and their bones. So besides the fact that we have them at least taking their prenatal vitamins, the calcium is important, the vitamin D is important. So at a minimum, they need to make sure they're taking their prenatals that have most of those things in it. And for some people, depending upon what other underlying bone issues they may have, they may need to be taking some other additional supplements.
Thank you for sharing that information. Chef Rock, when you have women who are in the maternity state, what is your requirement for them and how much they can lift, how they lift? Because as Dr. Gloria Ivy Crow just stated, it is important to make certain that everyone is safe, because you're also a businessman. You're trying to put out a product. You need production to happen on time. When you're managing and leading others, how do you gauge what your employees are capable of doing so that there are no injuries?
Well, Dr. Jacquie, I have learned, I've been cooking in restaurants for 25 years, and I've learned one thing about, pregnant employees, and do not tell her what she can and cannot do. With certain times I have to pull some employees down off the ledge, like, please don't do that. But I think what's important as an employer and a colleague is creating the conditions that support a pregnant woman on the job. So whether that be, breaks that maybe are, I don't say uncommon, but whenever she needs a break, we give it to her, an opportunity to have some private space. I think this is really uncommon in traditional restaurants where you're always around people and you need a break in general, but definitely if you're with child, sometimes you just need to cut out the noise, maybe put your feet up and take your shoes off for a
Right.
second. And also the I know we're going to talk about food in a minute, but Dr. Gloria talked about prenatal vitamins, and I did some work with the March of Dimes years ago. I was a celebrity chef, and I raised a bunch of money for them. But I learned a lot about nutrition, and so as a restaurant owner, I want to make sure that every employee has access to a good meal. But definitely, a woman that's pregnant with child, you want to make sure that we're supportive in a restaurant to be able to support her nutrition while she's at work, or if she wants to take some stuff home. And I think that that's what we try to build, or at least I try to build a company where we're supportive in whatever she needs.
Well, let's talk about that because nutrition is important. One of our other guests, our trainer, Mocha Lee, talked about the importance of vitamin D. But there are nutrients in food that are very important. And I know our contributor, Charlotte Avery, she's a mom of 7, wife of 1. And, all of these dialogues and conversations about how do you put good food in your body in order to maintain balance? And, Rock, while we were in the pandemic, a lot of us, we were doing delivery. And so sometimes it wasn't the healthiest of food, but as we've learned to cook and prepare better meals, can you talk to us about the nutritional value that we should have in getting back to balance?
Absolutely. I think we have to start with, the doctor said it earlier, with grace, right? We have to give ourselves some space, right? There's so much media attention and so many ads on, how to eat. And if you're not eating this, you're wrong. You're convicted, right? We got to let some of that go and give ourselves some grace and give ourselves a little space and then move forward from that place. And one of the ways that I love, accessing nutrition, especially we're talking spring, it's bright, we're going to cookouts, we're getting out, is, get in the garden a little bit, right? And if you don't have a garden or access to one, get in the produce section and just eat the rainbow. I know it sounds, overused, but spring is all about colors and smells, and things are growing. So we have to access that. We have to be a part of what Mother Nature is doing. So access some of these new and vibrant vegetables and plants that don't shop the outside aisles. So that's one key, is to really eat the rainbow. The other thing, really quickly, is the weather. It's warming up, right? So spices. We're known for spices. We're known for flavor. So access some of that. Throw a little more cayenne in there. Get some fresh ginger. Lemon juice in the morning. With your water, right? So things that warm you up and get your body ready to receive all of that other stuff. But spices are really great around this time of year, all the time, but they're really getting our body to receive some more of those nutrients.
I like everything that you just said, Dr. Tierney, Charlotte Avery, and Mocha Lee. Let's bring them back in for a minute before we go to our break, because you said something about eating the rainbow. And I can tell you, a good stir fry with all the tricolor peppers and some olive oil, I'm comfortable with that. I don't always need a protein, because sometimes just having that nice, lightly cooked and well seasoned, thank you, chef, for saying that, well seasoned vegetable can go a long way. Charlotte Avery, when you're thinking about how you prepare your meals for yourself and for your family, I know that you cook the rainbow and your kids have an amazing palate.
I do. I definitely cook the rainbow. And, for myself, like when he was talking about, drinking warm lemon water and things like that, that's one thing that I do for myself every morning. I drink 16 ounces of warm lemon water, and then I drink another 16 ounces of fresh celery juice. So that's one thing that I do for myself. But I add vegetables to almost everything that my children eat in our household, because one, we don't have any picky eaters in our house. And so even when I make eggs, like I'll make like I call them confetti eggs, but it's really just eggs with like spinach and all the 3-color peppers and onions in them, and they love them. I add spinach to lasagna and spaghetti sauce and all kinds of things. I mean, and we're a smoothie family, so we love smoothies. Like when spring and summer are here, I don't even really need like meat or anything like that, but I love fresh vegetables. I love smoothies. And I mean, it's just amazing. And my kids love them. So, I hide all kinds of things in there. Their vitamins. Sometimes I throw it in a smoothie or whatever. But I mean, we do it all the time. I mean, the rainbow is real. And I love how he said, eating the rainbow. It's really, really important that we do that. And I really try to do that in my house. And my children call my husband the green Nazi because he doesn't let them eat anything without eating some kind of green food. If it's spinach, kale, greens, or whatever. And one of my goals this year, actually, this spring and summer, is to try to start a garden with our children.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Mocha Lee, what are you telling your clients?
I'm telling them a lot of what I'm hearing already, which is great. And because I'm the trainer of all busy people, I love what I just heard about the smoothies. Because if you think about it, you could put so many ingredients in your smoothie. You could get your 5 fruits and veggies all at one time, blend them up, and then chug and go. So I am a big proponent of smoothies because that's just a quick way to get your greens. And then because everyone's looking for energy, I'll always remind them, put some ginger in there, always think about things that can add energy without the S word, sugar. Because if you could just figure out how to avoid sugar, I'm telling you, that's just going to help so much with your health and fitness in general. But water, like we've already been talking about, water is that secret ingredient. So I just remind my clients, get the water, get the greens, even if it has to be in a smoothie. And, if you're in a hurry, don't knock the salad bars, because now that we're coming out of the pandemic, believe it or not, the salad bars are back. And if you just are in a crunch for time, you can just run down that salad bar and get the rainbow. I was shocked when I learned that I love just all kinds of different vegetables and beets, especially. I was like, oh, wow, I can get with some beets. And beets, again, give you energy. So all of those things are great. But going back to the balance, though, I also have to remind most of my clients about getting that sleep. Because once you wake up sleep deprived, a lot of your decision making just falls out, So the sleep is another tip. This doesn't have necessarily to do with nutrition, but it's definitely related to helping you keep your balance.
Oh, I can see that it is a very big component. Sleep is not overrated. For anybody that says that sleep is overrated, they truly have not benefited from a good night's rest. And it does make a difference. Dr. Tierney.
So one of the things that I tell my clients and that I practice myself is to find what works for you. I went through this whole period where I was feeling guilty because I wasn't able to really cook as much as I used to, or I used to be able to meal prep. And so I just didn't have the time, anymore. And so what I started doing was using one of the meal prep services where they deliver the food, to you. And so I was, again, trying to hold myself to the standard of what I used to be able to do when life has changed, sugar. So I had to switch it up, and so me doing the meal prep services for my breakfast and my lunch, it ensures that I eat, because just like Chef Rock was saying, you'll be so busy and going all day. I would get stuck in my computer, and before you know it, it's 3-4 o'clock, and my husband say, hey, what did you eat today? And I go, and so doing the meal prep services is what really helped me in my busy lifestyle to be able to make sure that I'm eating, but not just eating like grabbing a bag of chips or something like that, but eating whole foods, fresh vegetables that have already been prepared, that's already portion, controlled, that I don't have to think about, what to eat. It's already there. I just pop it in the microwave and can keep rolling, with my day. And it keeps me fueled, it keeps me full, and it helps me to meet my nutrition goals, So again, just doing what works, for you in your busy lifestyle. If that means that you can meal prep, if that means that you pay somebody to meal prep for you, if that means they deliver it to the door, or you can get in the kitchen and knock it out yourself, but being creative and flexible to find what works for you that will help you reach your goals.
This has been an outstanding segment The conversation we've been having today here at A Balanced Life has really engaged us in such a way where we're learning how to not only take care of our physical health, but our mental and emotional health as well, and taking care of some good nutrition. When we come back after the break, Dr. Jessica Howard will talk to us about being back to balance as it relates to our physical health.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited to bring in Dr. Jessica Howard. I know that across the pond and pretty soon here in the States, we'll be talking about back health. Let me tell you, awareness of issues related to your back can oftentimes be debilitating. Dr. Jessica is here to talk to us about how to prepare ourselves to get ready to be out and about. Hey, Dr. Jessica.
Hi, Dr. Jackie. How are you?
I am so well. It is good to see you today.
Yes, it's wonderful to see you as well.
So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do? And then we'll just dive into our conversation about back health and awareness.
Yes, so I'm Dr. Jessica. I'm a chiropractor. I practice in Tyson's Corner. I've been practicing about 10 years. And what I do is simple. People think chiropractic is about neck pain or back pain, but it's basically about keeping your body in perfect alignment so that you function overall. What we don't understand is that your spine encases your health. So the direct reflection of your spinal health is a direct reflection of your health. So if there's any pressures or nerve interference, your body's going to feel headaches, lower back pain, numbness, and tingling. So what I do is I basically treat your back so that your body can function overall better.
Wow. Function overall better. I think that is one of the keys to being able to establish when you need to go to a chiropractor. So, a lot of what we do and how we figure out our overall health is related to, I may feel a twinge here or, some type of a tweak over there. And, you start reaching behind yourself and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel quite right. Dr. Jessica, how do we know when it's time to see a chiropractor?
Well, the first sign and indication is muscle fatigue and weakness. We think that pain is the first indicator that our body is having an issue, but pain is actually the last indicator. When your body is not functioning properly, you'll feel your muscles getting tired. You'll feel fatigue, your energy will drop. And that's because pressure on nerves are affecting your overall functioning system. So technically, when you start to feel fatigue or that muscle soreness or that muscle tightness, don't just take Aleve or Tylenol to cover it up. You should get your spine checked then. When you get your spine checked when you're having pain is your body's last resort to tell you that something is wrong. So now you have to do damage control to take you out of that pain.
Ooh, I'm going to try to figure out how to unpack what you just said, because you said when you feel pain, literally it's almost too late. Now I have old gymnastics injuries, and oftentimes, and I believe that my sciatic nerve is a part of where I feel that pain in my back, and people go, oh, my aching back. And it can be from the top, the bottom, from standing or sitting. What are some of the general rules and guidelines as we talk about back awareness and back health to knowing when to stand up and, when is sitting down too much? I don't think we've actually, worked out when we're sitting too often.
Right. So the first step is how you sleep. So if you are a stomach sleeper with your head down and the head turned, that affects your spinal alignment. That can cause muscle fatigue, weakness, the muscles to be stretched to cause overall pain later. So basically how you start off sleeping helps your alignment. So sleeping on your side or flat on your back are the best ways to put you in a good position. And if you are someone who works from home or works in a facility and you have a seating to standing desk, it's best to sit for 2 or 3 hours and then stand for 2 or 3 hours. And if you do have to sit all day, it's best to have a chair that has a lumbar support. You want to sit all the way back in your chair. You want to sit up. You want to make sure that your computer screen is eye level. You don't want to be looking too far down or too far up. And if you do have 2 screens or 2 monitors, you want to make sure that you turn your whole body to look at the monitor. Don't just turn your head or neck, because then you'll cause pain that way. So the best place to start is your sleeping position. And then if you're working out throughout the day, making sure that your ergonomics are correct if you're working at the desk.
Okay, so that little bar that's in my car when I'm taking road trips, I need to activate the lumbar that's in
Absolutely,
the car.
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. That protects your spine. That little curve in your back is supposed to be there. If you're sitting straight up like a little stick, you're messing up your back. You're supposed to have a little curve and dip in there. So definitely utilize that lumbar support in your car.
Earlier in one of our segments, Chef Rock Harper was talking about the amount of time that he stands working with individuals who are pregnant. And Dr. Gloria Ivy-Crowe, who is with us, talked about just how pregnant women experience varied things. I'd like to bring in Chef and Dr. Gloria Ivy-Crowe along with Dr. Howard, just for us to talk a little bit more about signs and wonders. I know that oftentimes it's not easy to detect when there's a work pain and when there's a growing old pain. So what are some of the differentiations that we can establish? At my age, I think everything is about old age, but I do recognize I have older injuries. So how do you make some type of determination what's work and what's real life?
Well, it all depends on what you're doing now. If you are truly exercising, eating right, stretching, getting massages, seeing a chiropractor to making sure your body's in perfect alignment, and you have small aches and pains after that, then that's a old type of pain. But if you are working hard on your feet all day, not getting your proper exercise, not getting your proper sleep, not your proper nutrition, those are indicators that you need to work on your self-help and your self-care to get you in alignment. So those are 2 indicators. So are you properly taking care of yourself now, or are you waiting to the last minute to let things pile up?
Dr. Gloria.
They are going to start experiencing changes because their body is changing. The joints and ligaments, because of the hormones that are produced in pregnancy, the joints and ligaments are going to get very lax, which are in preparation for 9 months later when she's ready to deliver. She needs to be able to have some flexibility when those legs, if she's going to ends up doing a vaginal delivery, she's got to have flexibility with those legs to being able to go back. And so it's not unusual for about after the 2nd trimester for women to start feeling a couple of aches and pains. Some of it, of course, we talked about a little bit earlier, the changes in their balance because of the lower doses, the way they have to monitor and manage that extra weight. The other thing that happens is their symphysis bone, which is the bone in the middle, starts to separate a little bit, and that's very uncomfortable a lot of times for women. But the idea is it's all in preparation for what needs to happen 9 months down the road when that baby's head has to engage, come down through that pelvis. It's going to need space. So it's not uncommon for our women to have pain, but we want to make sure it's not any pain that's going to threaten the pregnancy. And then there are actual times where we will make recommendations for pregnancy massages, as well as to see a chiropractor who can do some alignment issues, some alignment treatments like Jessica alluded to help make things a little bit better for them as they adjust to all of this stress on their bones and joints with the weight gain with pregnancy.
Thank you for sharing that information. Chef Rock Harper.
Yes. So I guess maybe I have even a question, because I don't know if I'm qualified to sort of answer that. But I think for us, it's always in the restaurant business, it's about creating the conditions and allowing employees to or ourselves to be able to, go to see a chiropractor when things, sort of act up or flare up. It's not a great thing, but we have like a go hard culture in the kitchen where, something hurts or something, you tweak something and, you say, how long can I work through it? And that's not always the best method. So I'd be curious, what the doctors say. What's the best practice for an employer, especially, not knowing and having that culture mindset where the harder you go has been rewarded in years past, but that's not something we want to do in the future. So I'm left with a bit more questions. Maybe I can ask offline than I am answers. So.
No, I think your question is well stated. And I'll ask Dr. Jessica, as he talks about pushing through the pain, and if you can just envision the trucks are coming in off the dock and the restaurant worker has to go out and, throw the bag of potatoes off the truck and into the storage room, and they have to get the big pots and pans to make the gumbo and all of those things. When are you not supposed to push through the pain?
Right. So my job is to help you function to do the things that you love. So he wants to go hard in the kitchen. The employees get hard in the kitchen so they can put out beautiful dishes. Well, my job is to make sure that when you come into me, that the best practice in those particular instances is to be adjusted once a week or once every 2 weeks to get your body in alignment, remove those interferences or those traumas of the body of you being on your feet all day, lifting heavy things, so that you can go back and go harder in the kitchen or on the job. So the main thing is taking the time out to make sure that you get adjusted. The heavier the activity, so if you're a heavy athlete or Olympian athlete, if you're on your feet all day, it's best to be adjusted once a week or once every 2 weeks to keep your body in perfect alignment so that you can do the things that you love. So I don't ever tell my patients they can't wear high heels, they can't go hard in the gym, they can't do what they like to do. My job is to keep you functioning at optimal levels so that you can do that pain-free.
Thank you for sharing that information. I feel a little bit better now about going a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Going just a little bit harder. Thank you for that segment. I can say that the people who will view this will clearly understand a little bit better about their overall back health. It allows them, as Dr. Jessica said, to get back to living their optimal self. When we come back after the break, I'll do a little bit of reflection and carry things on for setting up for our next way of how we can begin to live a more balanced and fulfilling life when we're back after the break.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punching!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?
Welcome back, everyone. As you can tell, back health is so important to your overall health. Learning how to live with your aches and pains, but also knowing when to get yourself in alignment physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. I'm going to bring in all our guests. What I'd like for them to do is to give the reflection of the day. Each one of them will share for just a few seconds about what it means to be back to balance. Dr. Tierney.
Absolutely. The one thing that I definitely want viewers to take away is that when we're talking about wellness, it's definitely physical wellness, but it's also mental and emotional wellness. We hold our emotions in our bodies, so that stress that you're just saying, I'm fine, that could be the tension that you're feeling in your neck. That's what, then you have to go see Dr. Howard to get that adjustment. So sometimes the adjustment, it's, yes, a physical adjustment, but it could also be needing that conversation around what's happening in your mental space, what's happening in your emotional space, so that those things aren't manifesting in your physical body. So making sure that you're looking at wellness from a total space, physical, mental, and emotional.
Thank you, Dr. Tierney. Charlotte Avery.
Thank you. So for me, my takeaway for today is really, one, listen to your body, but be good to yourself. Be good to yourself holistically. Like Dr. Tierney said, be really good to yourself. Listen to your body. Listen to how you're feeling. And then if you don't feel like you have everything under control, then definitely go see your chiropractor, go see your mental health professional, and make sure you're taking care of you so that you can get your household back to balance and take care of everybody else.
Absolutely. Dr. Howard.
Yes, chiropractic is the world's best kept secret to living a balanced life. When you are under chiropractic care, that function and getting your body out of pain helps your brain and body connect as a whole. So not only are you out of pain, but your body functions overall better. And you'll notice that your body, you're stronger, you have more energy, you have less colds, less allergies, less issues, because your spine is in perfect alignment. So I just want people to know that chiropractic is the best kept secret to living a balanced life.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Dr. Gloria Ivy Crow.
Well, as we move into spring and we've just gotten into daylight savings time, I want us to, the takeaway for our patients, whether they're GYN patients, whether they're OB patients, is to take advantage of the sunshine, the supplements that we need to do. And just like as Dr. Tierney alluded to, is to be able to take all things into consideration, whether it's our physical, whether it's mental, the importance of sleep, the importance of balance, whether it's from a balance in terms of nutrition, whether it's a balance in terms of alignment, but just to put all the pieces together and not separate them, but to realize, as our other guest said, it's the holistic approach for all of it.
Holistic living is truly one of the ways in which we can establish a baseline for how we're going to live our life. I want to talk next to Mocha Lee, and then we'll close out with Chef Rock Harper. Mocha.
Just want everyone to remember that you do have time. Every little bit adds up. So even if it's just 5 minutes, you're sitting at your desk, small stretches, small twists, all the little things add up all throughout the day. And so when you feel overwhelmed, like, oh, I don't even know where to start, just believe me, tomorrow when you wake up, or even while you're sitting here watching this show, just, take a few minutes to just give your body a stretch. And believe me, the small amounts add up and your body will feel better for sure.
Thank you for giving us grace and permission to take small steps toward living an overall balanced life. Chef Rock Harper.
Dr. Jackie, thank you so much. I want to say two things. One, eat more plants, drink more water. Those are the food things. Let's just keep it simple. Eat more plants, drink more water. But as we go to the cookouts and the barbecues this spring, this summer, I want to, as I'm immersed with such brilliance, such genius here on the show, I want to encourage all of us, but definitely those who are not elders, to speak to our elders, to speak to the people that we're to fellowship more and understand, just as we have today, that we have so many keys and so many gems around us, that's a long, maybe a forgotten part of the cookout or the barbecue, is to make sure that we learn from one another, but eat more plants and drink more water along the way.
Thank you, Chef Rock Harper, for that. So when the people come to your cookout this spring or this summer, don't be upset if they bring a bowl of kale, simply because we recognize and understand that eating across the rainbow is a very big part to community, to fellowship, and to overall living a balanced life. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great day.